You know, a lot of movies or TV shows or books or whatever, they're trying to say something. They're trying to give an opinion or shine a light on some dark part of society that maybe not too many people pay attention to. 13 Reasons Why Season 1 had a very clear objective: to give us a realistic, uncensored look at teen suicide, bullying, modern high school life, these kinds of things. But as many people, myself included, pointed out, it didn't really do too good of a job of making Hannah out to be as sympathetic of a victim as perhaps it intended to. She went well out of her way to avoid getting help, refusing help when it was given to her, and ultimately turning what was supposed to be a sympathetic look at a bullying victim into a sort of revenge power fantasy. Now, Season 2 brings us 5 months later, with Hannah's parents suing the school for their allegedly negligent behavior. Throughout the following 13 episodes, the students and faculty give their testimonies about who Hannah was, what she did and didn't do, and their individual roles in what happened to her. The most interesting part of the second season, at least to me, was how, while the first season was mainly told from Clay's point of view and things that he didn't know, we never got to know either, the second season fills in the blanks in his knowledge and memory about Hannah and what happened in the previous year. But this leads us into what I feel is the biggest problem with 13 Reasons Why Season 2. During the court testimonies, we hear both sides, all different perspectives on various issues the show brings up about bullying and tolerance and mental health and so on. And while it gives equal time and weight to each perspective, in so doing, it doesn't really say anything. Season 1 was clearly meant to show us how Hannah was, or at least felt like she was, a victim of circumstance and of a school that would rather pretend these problems didn't exist. Season 2 seems more interested in examining all sides of the story without coming to any clear conclusion about anything in particular. In the end, the school wins the lawsuit. Bryce gets off with 3 months probation for what he did to Hannah, Jessica, and no doubt several others, and all the bullying just moves on to other students, like Tyler. In fact, by the end, I completely understood Tyler's point of view and why he went off to do what he did, even after the school, his parents, his friends, everyone tried to help.
He's not interested in the truth, Mom. If he did, half the jocks would be at his stupid diversionary program.
Tyler.
He just beat the shit out of half a dozen kids in the hallway and nothing happened. No one does anything.
The show paints this really pessimistic, negative look at the world and how powerless all the characters are in trying to affect any kind of change. So, what exactly are we supposed to take away from 13 Reasons Why Season 2? That nothing can be solved? That there's no justice? That people will do whatever they do no matter what? In a vacuum, maybe this kind of hands-off approach could work. But our world today is very different than it was even just 1 or 2 years ago. Are we supposed to watch this and think that all the tragedies we see almost like every week on the news are somehow our fault or anyone's fault but the perpetrators themselves? Or maybe it's meant to be a commentary on the justice system, how the court was more interested in protecting Bryce's future than punishing him for his rather unrepentant crimes. Or how eager everyone was to tarnish Hannah and Jessica's reputations, to dig into their unrelated past just to give themselves an edge in the courtroom. How Justin was punished twice as harshly as Bryce just for being from the wrong family in the wrong part of town. Maybe the show wanted to give us all the information and let us decide for ourselves, but at least from my point of view, this is a pretty lazy way of conveying a message. Without having a purpose or a thesis through which we're supposed to view the events of the show, it really just comes across as a toothless, somewhat bland conclusion to Hannah's story. Hannah doesn't get any of the justice she wanted, no one's really punished in any meaningful way, and everything pretty much goes back to the way it was. So not only are we left with not much of a message to take away from the show that kind of advertised itself as having something important to say in the first place, but the events of Season 2 don't seem to have much point in the world of 13 Reasons Why. I mean, the only character who really has anything to say, oddly enough, is Tyler. But this leads us into another symptom of what I believe to be the biggest problem with the show. By not taking any particular side or school of thought, the show kind of makes Tyler seem like a hero, or I guess an anti-hero, that all the kids we see in the news who shoot up their schools or whatever hope to become, and do become thanks to the 24-hour news cycle that the world runs on. In the final episode of the season, I found myself sympathizing with Tyler's story based on the way it was told in the show. The biggest problem with 13 Reasons Why Season 2 is that it has no real focus, no message, no goal, it seems, at least to me. It just seems content on reminding us that the world is a horrible place and life is unfair and nothing ever changes. And between you and me, I don't really need 13 reasons to be reminded of that. Now, regardless of whatever your thoughts are about 13 Reasons Why as a show itself, I think we can all agree that mental health is something that we should all care about. And so this video is brought to you by BetterHelp. So okay, BetterHelp is basically counseling or therapy done online right from your home. They have hundreds of different therapists from like any religion or ethnic background or life experience, like whatever. Like you can choose the therapist that's right for you, and you can change anytime. And while of course mental health counseling and therapy services are the main focus, they also have things like marriage counseling, career advice counseling, help for addiction, counseling for family issues, anger management, and so on. It only costs between $35 to like $70 a week with unlimited communication with your therapist. Now, compare that to regular therapy, which costs upward of like $300 per session. Not that bad. And get this, if you need help, but you're worried about like money or financial situation, whatever, like they even offer financial assistance for those who qualify. Now, I get a lot of messages from people who tell me how my videos have helped them through tough times or, you know, talked them off a ledge, so to speak. And I'm really glad that they resonate with you in that way. But as should be very obvious, I'm not a professional. So if you're having these feelings and you need someone to talk to, or you just need help from a certified professional therapist, click the link in the description and please give BetterHelp a try. You know, the thing about 13 Reasons Why is like, as an idea, I think it's actually very good. I think that like here and there TV shows, you know, with teenagers, they try to like talk about these kinds of things in kind of like roundabout, kind of euphemistic ways. I think it's a good idea that the show tackles it or tries to tackle it head on. That's fine. But the execution is so, not that it's necessarily bad. Like as a show, it's actually pretty entertaining, to be honest. Like it's interesting to watch, but it's like when you try to view it through the lens of what it's trying to say and the message it's trying to convey and the emotions we're supposed to feel, whatever, it doesn't really do a good job of actually getting there. Like, and I think another big issue with the show is like, it suffers from the same teen drama problem that I mention like every time I make a video, which is that kids act like adults and adults act like kids, you know, like, it's not that it would never happen that way, but it's just like, the kids don't act like high school kids. They act like this weird combination of like really immature, but also at the same time, like 40-year-old people. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but just like, it's very inconsistent with what it's trying to portray. You know, if the show was like in a fantasy world, or it was kind of in this world where certain things exist in certain ways, we have to kind of accept that. But when we're told it's the real world, but then nothing is realistic, like it's just hard to take it seriously. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell or whatever it is you have to do now. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you all next time.